From Alan Rickman as Louis XIV to Daniel Craig in 18th century London, I'm counting down 10 period dramas so obscure you've probably never seen a single episode. These are shows that flopped, vanished after one season, or were buried by the BBC, even though some feature all-star casts and insane production values. These are the forgotten period dramas literally nobody watched, and some of them are actually incredible. Berkeley Square, just 10 episodes, but each one runs about 50 minutes. Classic BBC miniseries. The setting is London, 1902. 3 young women, all from totally different backgrounds, land jobs as nannies in the fancy houses of Berkeley Square. The show's all about this moment where the Victorian age turns into the Edwardian, the new king, changing times, all that. Class divides show up, sure, but the real focus is on these 3 nannies, just starting out, figuring out their lives, and getting tangled up in their employers' dramas. What really makes it work is the casting. The 3 leads play off each other perfectly. Each one different, but believable. The parallel storylines tie together in a way that's way more compelling than you'd expect. It's not the flashiest show, doesn't have the money or polish of something like The Grand or Brideshead Revisited. The story's not as twisty as Upstairs, Downstairs, but that subtlety, the friendship at the heart of it, pulls you in. Later episodes get a bit melodramatic, so fair warning if that's not your thing, but the mood and the performances more than make up for it. So why no second season? The creator, Suzanne van de Velde, put it plainly. They had plans for more, the cast was great, but the BBC just killed it. One department head could scrap the whole thing, and that's exactly what happened. Sometimes good TV just falls through the cracks. Alan Rickman and Kate Winslet only worked together twice in period pieces, Sense and Sensibility in 1995, and then this one, A Little Chaos, in 2014. The difference could not be bigger. This one covers the construction of the Gardens of Versailles, 1630s France. King Louis XIV wants his garden, so 2 artists get pulled in to work on it, and, of course, they start a romance. The cast is loaded. Kate, Stanley Tucci, Rupert Penry-Jones, and Rickman directing. Here's where it gets interesting. Rickman never planned to act in this at all. He just wanted to direct. But the producers, thinking about the budget, convinced him to step in and play Louis himself. He talked about it later, said he tried hard not to do it, but the math made sense for the financiers. 1 less paycheck to cut. You add up the numbers and here's an actor you don't have to pay immediately. It makes the sums add up, and the producers just say, "You're playing it." Production did not go smooth. Throwing Kate into freezing water at 1 a.m., that carriage crash, scenes packed with extras in tight locations. For all that effort, it just didn't connect. At the box office, $10 million worldwide, and critics gave it a 49% on Rotten Tomatoes. The costumes and scenery look incredible, but if not for that and some sharp camera work, it might be a slog. 2 years after it came out, Alan Rickman passed away at 69. It never had the impact it should have, but the backstory is more interesting than what made it to the screen. A good woman takes Oscar Wilde's Lady Windermere's Fan and moves it to the Amalfi Coast in the 1930s. You get Helen Hunt, Scarlett Johansson, Tom Wilkinson, a stacked cast. Helen Hunt plays an American socialite who gets involved with a married man, setting off a scandal in this high-society expat community. Visually, the movie's gorgeous. The villas, the coastline, the costumes, all top tier. You get a real sense of the Italian summer, lush, sunny, almost too perfect. Problem is, it flopped. Didn't even make its $8 million budget back. The story stays pretty simple, easy to follow, a little predictable, but the actors are fun to watch. Johansson and Hunt do a lot with the roles they're given, and the movie's shot in a safe, traditional style that really leans into the period detail. Characters sometimes go a bit over the top, but it fits the tone. If you're here for Wilde, the setting and look make up for the bumps in the story. The BBC did The 39 Steps as a TV movie in 2008, with Rupert Penry-Jones as the lead. It's based on John Buchan's novel, same as the classic Hitchcock film. This time, Penry-Jones plays Richard Hannay, a mining engineer who finds London's social life boring until a secret agent crashes into his apartment with a coded notebook. Suddenly, he's dodging German spies, the British law, and racing to crack the code before World War I breaks out. There's plenty of running around, masquerades, and plot twists, plus an extra romance angle. Victoria, the sister of a parliamentary candidate, gets caught up with Hannah. The whole thing leans into cozy mystery territory, a bit more comic than suspenseful. It's a fun ride, even if the ending goes a little over the top. As TV movies go, it looks great. The locations are beautiful, and Penry Jones makes a likable lead. The adaptation takes some liberties that don't always land, but it's still a solid watch, especially if you're into classic adventure stories. The Last King. 4 episodes, big cast. Rufus Sewell is Charles II, Rupert Graves is Buckingham, and Martin Freeman and Helen McCrory pop up too. The story follows Charles's time on the throne, his exile from Cromwell's England, and his comeback. It balances court intrigue and bigger political changes, so even if you don't think you're into history, this one grabs you. Sewell gives Charles real depth, royal but still human, so you end up actually rooting for the guy. Graves is perfect as Buckingham, and the pacing keeps things moving, which, let's be honest, is rare for historical dramas. After watching, you might end up looking up the real history of the period, always a good sign. The production values are solid, it gets the details right, and overall, it's worth a watch. This one's not a documentary. It's more about the personalities and the shifting politics of the Restoration than ticking off dates. But as a portrait of Charles and his court, it's up there with the best. Now this one's wild. 18th century England, Alex Kingston as Moll, Daniel Craig, Diana Rigg. It starts with Moll born in prison, growing up with gypsies, and then just tearing through life. 5 husbands, fortunes lost and found, a stint as a thief and a prostitute, and somehow always landing on her feet. Andrew Davies wrote the scripts, he did Pride and Prejudice, The Way We Live Now, and you can tell, he makes classic literature feel fresh and sharp. Kingston is perfect as Moll, bringing out all the wit and guts of the character. The series doesn't hold back. Nudity, sex, all the rough edges of Moll's life. It's for grown-ups, not a sanitized adaptation. Daniel Craig and Diana Rigg are great in their roles too. If you're watching in the US, PBS aired both a 2-part and a full 4-part version. The longer one's the way to go with everything left in. For fans of fast-paced historical drama, this one delivers. This one's for the real period drama diehards. 26 episodes based on Anthony Trollope's 6 political novels. It opens with Glencora, forced into marriage, and then sprawls out over 25 years, tracking her family and all the political wheeling and dealing in the House of Commons. It's a classic masterpiece theater vibe. Rich costumes, intricate plots, a huge cast. Younger audiences missed this when it first aired in the 70s, but it stayed a cult favorite. The show starts slow, needs a few episodes to get rolling, but the payoff is worth it. The acting is first-rate with all the usual BBC names. The story hops from one group of characters to another, so it can feel a bit episodic, but that actually keeps things from getting stale. It's true to the novels, where it changes things, it usually improves them. If you want something dense, sprawling, and deeply British, The Pallisers is essential viewing. Another Trollope adaptation, and one of the best. The Barchester Chronicles adapts The Warden and Barchester Towers, diving into the lives of clergymen and their families in a Victorian cathedral town. Scandal erupts when a campaign against church corruption gets out of hand. The cast is perfect. The characters straight off the page. Alan Rickman is unforgettable as Obadiah Slope, slimy and conniving, the total opposite of his sense and sensibility role. The story weaves political intrigue, romance, and comedy, all handled with a light touch. Watch this, and you'll see why fans of Trollope swear by it. If you ever go back to the books, you'll picture these actors in every scene. The acting and the script bring the whole world to life. Pure comfort viewing for anyone into British period drama. This one adapts Trollope's novel about suspicion and jealousy. A man becomes convinced his wife is cheating, and every social rule of the time just makes it worse. There's a side plot involving his aunt and a young woman staying with her, and David Tennant shows up as a vicar. His character is sometimes a scheming gold digger, sometimes just clueless, and the script can't seem to decide which. Laura Fraser is excellent as always. You can't help but wonder how Tennant would have handled the lead role as the spiraling husband. The drama is intense, and even if the subplots don't always gel, the main story packs a punch. Not the best known of the BBC's Trollope adaptations, but worth it for the performances. And here's one that's brand new. It's French, currently on Netflix, and critics are all in. The Taste of Things holds a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is basically unheard of for a recent period drama. The film centers on cook Eugenie and her employer, Dodin. Over 20 years, their relationship deepens, fueled by their shared passion for food. Juliette Binoche and Benoît Magimel light up the screen. The movie's opening is just pure food cinema. About 20 minutes of an elaborate meal being prepared, shot with such care you'll wish you brought snacks. Without much dialogue, the film draws you into these characters' lives through what they cook and share. The cinematography and lighting are outstanding, and the love story is understated but powerful. If you watch this, eat beforehand, or have something ready because you'll be starving by the halfway point. It's a celebration of food and love that actually earns the hype.